Yeah, man, it's your boy Alfred once again. Welcome back to another video. And today I want to touch on one thing, man. Don't allow other people's fear to get to you. Don't allow other people's fear to get to you. What do I mean? I mean, some people in life who have given up or probably had certain situations happen to them, right? And then they were not able to continue with certain tasks, certain things, certain goals, or just wanted to do something, right? Then they got misfortune or something like that. Then what happened is that usually this happens family, friends, even friends or just situations like that, right? They tend to narrate that thing that happened, and then it's fear-based. They put it in an angle that's fear towards you. They're gonna put fear towards you, right? Or put fear in you. So what I'm saying is that do not fear. Yeah, it may be a story that it has a moral to it, right? That is teaching you something, right? They might be narrating something, a situation that happened to them. But the fact that that situation happened to them, it was an unfortunate situation, does not mean that the very same thing will happen to you, right? Especially if they're coming in an angle whereby they are really fearful for their situation, and in your case it's beneficial, right? So don't adapt that fear. Now what I'm saying is, I'm not saying don't be cautious. You know, when someone's narrating something or is giving you a sort of an anecdote or of sort, telling you a story or telling you something to learn, right? You should be able to really evaluate what the guy is saying, him or her or whatever, right? It should not be in a perspective way whereby the perspective of the story is actually trying to get you to do something that in actual fact you can't do that, but they're trying to get to you so that you move away from that thing, right? Moving away from that thing and you want it may, in the future, it may make you may regret. You could say, oh man, I should have done it. Especially if that thing is not dangerous, right? Now, if the narrative or the narrator is coming in a situation or an angle whereby he's telling you to be cautious about a certain situation, he's telling the story, the unfortunate story, but at least it's just warning. Then you can take to consideration if you can go ahead with that. But if it's fear-based, because a lot of people, when something happens, they think that there's something that's perpetual. It happens everywhere, right? Which is not true, right? It's not true that if you hear an airplane accident, right, that if you are going to go on an airplane, right, you're going to get an airplane, you're going to be in an accident. It's highly likely though, but it does not mean that that's what's going to happen, right? There's certain people, the reason I'm saying this is because there are certain people who leave their goals, they leave their dreams because the parents, siblings, friends tell them that a certain situation won't be good, but that comes from their own narrative. The only way you can go about this is to make sure that, in fact, you should make sure that you experience certain things, then evaluate for yourself. It's good to ask around, it's good to know, okay, this might happen, that might happen, but the best teacher is experience. Now, sometimes this thing may be dangerous, right? The thing that you may want to embark on, it may bring, it may cause some injury or some shit like that. But at the end of the day, you never know, right? Just because that person had an accident does not mean that you could have an accident. It doesn't mean that. Otherwise, we wouldn't. People would have been daring to do things, right? So, the gist of it is, don't allow fear, especially fear from other people, to drown your dreams, right? To drown what you would like to achieve, to drown who you would want to be. Because this is how a lot of fear comes into us, through other people's experience of that situation. However, it's best to take perspective from different people. There are those who have succeeded, those who have not. There are those who have passed through a certain situation, there are those who have failed, right? Take both and then look at yourself. Can you actually go through that situation? Instead of absorbing that fear into your life, and that will eat into you, and then you won't even be able, or you won't go after your goals. And that's one of those goal killers. That's a big problem, right? Fear is a goal and purpose killer, and unfortunately we usually inherit some of these things, right? Parents, right? Like I said, siblings, probably big brother or something like that, grandparents. We inherit some of this because we hear the stories and then they warn us. Now, like I said, if people always listen to such situations or such stories, then there wouldn't be breakthroughs. There wouldn't be people who are succeeding. Because if you're going to listen to everything or everyone, especially those who are always wanting you to stop doing this, stop doing that, when you know you can do it, or you know you can do it, and you know you can actually handle that situation, right? But if you go through it, if you go about it fearfully, and you allow that fear to enter you, right? What will happen is that you won't be able to succeed moving forward, because that fear will hold you back. And that's what fear does. It holds you back, and worse all, it eats into your whole situation and your whole dream. That's what fear is about. So don't adapt that into your situation, but be cautious, evaluate that situation, think it through, right? Don't just take things as they are, because like I said, someone else's situation may not be yours. Just because your grandfather probably died on an airplane crash, right, for example, right, does not mean that the same thing would happen to you. Some people may warn you and tell you that, hey, it's a family curse and stuff like that, that we never fly on planes. That's just an example, and you actually believe that, right? If you believe that, then that fear will follow you. And unfortunately, what fear does, it eats into everything else. So that if you take that situation seriously, right, and not even consider thinking about it, then it will be easy for you to be manipulated and to actually people to actually control you. So trust me on this, you do not want to be easily controlled. You want to control every situation, and that's why I say you should be cautious and take heed of any situation. Do it, or at least consider it, because if you're the kind that always take things as told, right, you may miss out into plenty of opportunities. Some opportunities come in a way that you have to control your fear, you have to be able to tackle those fears that you have. And what fear does, it also brings phobias. You just fear almost just useless things, right? So don't always fear things. Be cautious, right? Take heed, no doubt, right? Do things that in the end of the day will keep you safe, right? But don't take things fearfully. Don't adopt that fear, right? Especially if someone is coming from an angle that he or she is trying to keep you away from a situation such that because that's his own experience, right? And he's convinced that might happen to you, but in a way, no. The only person who knows anything that will happen to you is the Supreme, right? So if you have your faith in the Supreme, the one above, then just let it be, right? Otherwise, you may not be able to move forward. You may be stuck in a situation. You're thinking that, how come this is not happening? How come I'm not moving forward? How come I have this unfortunate situation? But in actual fact, it's just fear. You're moving through fear. Usually fear because you've adopted that mentality because maybe your parents, right, your grandparents, your siblings, teacher, even teachers sometimes install fear in us, right? That situation should not be, right? Be courageous. Be much more courageous than you have fear, right? So don't adopt that fear. Make sure that what you're doing most of the time is courageous, right? But be cautious of what you're also doing, right? Take heed, right? Make sure you're not just doing things haphazardly. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. That's what I have for today, and I hope that's what this video brought some value, right? And until next time, peace.